It's your boy MBK in the billing. This is episode 22 of the Cinema Boys Reviews, and today we're talking about some of the best action movies of all time, be the Ray 1 and 2, and I'm with my lovely co-hosts, Dakota and Sammy.
Yo,
What's up, guys?
great to be back as always.
Okay,
Yeah.
Bilal, this is your episode, so I'm gonna let you introduce these movies.
Okay, the first.
Wait. Can we give a round of applause for Bilal's first episode and for the first guest to host the show? Bilal.
He's not a guest. We're all co-hosts, Sammy, and he hosted
Yeah, but I
last
mean,
week
like,
also.
he's the first. He's the
He hosted
person
last week's episode.
to guest host. You hosted last week's episode.
Yeah, he did. He did this
I'm
out.
so sorry. I'm so sorry. Cut that out. I'm so sorry. I did not remember that. I thought that was
Anyway,
it's the second time. It's his second time.
My second time, yes. Anyways, the first Ray movie came out 2011. It's directed by Gareth Evans, and this stars Iko Uwais, Yaya Rubin, Joe Taslim, which you might know from the Mortal Kombat movie that came out in 2021. And this film is absolutely amazing. And Ray 2 was released 3 years later, and some of the most mind-blowingly great action movies out there. So Dakota, give me your thoughts on this film, man.
First of all,
That's
is that who plays? No. First of all, is that who plays? What is his name in Mortal Kombat?
Sub-Zero.
Yes, I knew I recognized that guy from something.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
That's actually really cool. I didn't know that.
Joe Taslim, baby. Come on, man.
When I was watching, I'm like, holy crap! I'm like, I recognize this guy from something. And you just said it.
Yeah.
But the first Stray movie, first time watching this. Thank you, Bilal. Bilal's been on my ass, ladies and gentlemen, for like months now to watch this movie.
Pause.
And yeah, big pause. What the fuck did I just say? But I didn't mean like that. Okay. But
Or did too.
But these movies were really good. The first movie, really good. I enjoy. This is nonstop action, to be honest with you. I was kind of thinking of that with these movies, and you get right into it. You know the plot from the beginning. You know what's going to happen, and you just get right into it, and it's nonstop action. And I love the main actor in this. He plays in some American movies. He plays in Mile 22 with Mark Wahlberg, so I recognized him from that. And he's the bad guy also in the Expendables 4, which that was not that great of a movie, but I remember him from that.
Ghost movies, but yeah.
But he's great in this. The guy from Mortal Kombat, excellent performance. And we even get a cameo, or not cameo, he's part of the movie though. The guy from Boy Kills World.
Yeah, and Rubin.
Oh yeah, he's really good in this. Kung Fu all the way. After watching these movies, because these aren't, I think they're below what the type of movies there are. There are Indonesian, right?
Indonesian, yeah.
Indonesian.
I kind of want to get into Indonesian film more because if they're like nonstop action like this, I'm down to watch these movies. They give, and to be honest with you, a lot of action movies in America don't give good plots and subplots to the movie. And I really like the subplot of this movie with the action. Because it's not cookie cutter. It's straight to the point. We know what we are seeing. And I just really enjoy that. Like I said, Kung Fu action. It kind of reminds me of like the action like in John Wick, but hypened up and more entertained. And little hot take. I think both of these movies are better than some of the John Wick movies.
All of them.
Not all of them. I give number 4 is awesome. John Wick 4 is awesome. But I think that's about it because there's a lot of stuff I want to talk about in the spoiler section. But let's give it to Sammy. What are your thoughts on these movies?
I loved these movies.
Okay, first movie. Let's do the first movie.
Okay, yeah. So I the first one's my personal favorite. I absolutely fell in love with the story. I love how simple it is. The concept's very simple. These people are trying to take out a drug lord at the top of an apartment complex, and these people are now after them. And it's very much established from the beginning. It feels like a war movie, but it's built into
Yeah, like War on
like this.
Drugs type of movie. Yeah.
Yeah, but even then, like it doesn't even feel like I feel like a lot of drug movies kind of go for action in a different sense, whereas in this sense, it feels like I'm watching a war film in the same regard as if it was two people, two countries fighting on a beach,
Yeah.
or fighting in a field or something.
Oh,
Um, but it's a lot more claustrophobic. It's a lot more contained. I like how dirty and grimy it gets. It's entertaining and it's nonstop, but it never feels like there's times where it doesn't feel glorified. It's very graphic. It makes you kind of nauseous. It kind of makes you sick. I really like its message on violence. And when we get into spoilers, especially for when we talk about the second movie, I think the way it handles violence and its conversation about it while portraying it is absolutely incredible. Um, I have to say it's easily one of my favorite action movies now. It has a weird Die Hard energy to it, which I
yeah.
think carries it for sure. I personally would recommend this to anybody, and I had a lot of great twists that I didn't see coming, and I genuinely would recommend it to anybody. I love the first movie. The second one I love too. I think it's a very different film. I like what it has to say a lot more than the first movie. I like the action in the second one a lot more.
Yeah.
My thing with the second one is I feel like it's a lot more open. Um, so in that the combat is a lot more creative, the deaths are a lot more creative. I see a lot of the John Wick energy that it clearly borrowed from the raid. In that regard, but it also maintains that same like grimy graphicness of it, especially with certain scenes later on in the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I personally loved that movie too, and I think it's definitely a two movie combo. You have to
Yeah.
watch both. But yeah, I enjoyed them. I loved them.
Like for me, like especially with a story involving 20 elite cops and they're trying to go to like 30 floors in this apartment building to stop one crime lord being Tema. And I just love how this movie has so much action with close ups that makes you feel like you're part of the action. It feels claustrophobic. And I feel like that works with the score of this movie. The score definitely adds a layer of intensity. I must say, Aiko Uwais as Rama is my favorite movie character ever. And because the character, like without going spoilers, he is an underdog to tease cops. He is a rookie in this scenario. So having this rookie cop take initiative and become this absolute monster of a character is something really amazing. And at the same time, this movie hits you in emotional levels, which I'll dive into later in the spoilers. And I just love how nonstop the action is. It takes some um, breeders from the action and some elements of Tema looking at what's happening in the apartment buildings and having those subtle moments between the characters, having those small breeders that makes you relax a little bit before going back into the nonstop action of this film.
And I think you definitely bring up a good point, especially with how Rama goes about everything throughout the film. At least in the first film, when it comes to like action, um, I'm not gonna lie to you. I had the thought, it completely disappeared.
It happens. Hopefully, in the
Yep.
spoiler section,
Can
it'll
I say
come
I'll
up.
something
come
right
back.
now?
I'll come back in the spoilers,
I
guaranteed.
gotta
I
say
just
this.
yeah.
I know a lot of people like if they don't like read subtitles during movies, and I'm normally like that dude. It's hard for me to say because of course I'm just getting into the foreign language films or like international films. Let me state that better. Um, but this one, if there was a dub version, I'll watch the dub version. I think it's so much better watching sub
Yeah.
these movies.
And it's
Not
just it.
only
Yeah. Go
I
ahead. Sorry.
not only I think it goes with the story and stuff very well, but you can see the emotion a lot of these characters with the sub version.
I think definitely when you have a dub, live action dub, it's very noticeable and it takes away from a character's performance, in my opinion.
Yeah. 100%.
So if it's a movie that is international film or a foreign language film, I think definitely like you have to get over the subtitle hump. I think the best thing I can recommend in the weirdest way is anime. Anime helped so much with wanting to like now they getting comfortable with watching foreign film, but or like foreign like television in general. But it makes it to where when you watch other movies, it's just like anything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because it is at the end of the day. It's just getting comfortable with that because we're not catered that in the States as much, or at least in North America.
yeah, but I definitely think it's very important to go into international film and get used to the subtitles to see how much different creativity styles are from different countries in cinema. And I think, um, me personally, I've been getting to Korean films because I love Korean films. So every time I watch a Korean film, I don't really mind reading the subtitles because it really shows like Dakota says, the emotions, the performances click better when it is in their foreign language.
And there's just a lot of different ideas people have too. Like specifically like with Vietnamese movies, how they see like spirits is really interesting. I feel like a lot of times we see spirits in like a ghost or like a haunted regard, and they have a lot of movies, especially like in the 70s and 80s, that were very like spirit oriented in like dramas or romances and in just different ways. And I don't know, it's just really cool to see different countries play with different ideas and like
Yeah.
build a style that you're necessarily not accustomed to with your media, you know?
All right. Yeah. Oh,
especially going off of like this because I watched 4 international films. These two, of course, if you guys have seen our Denis Villeneuve ranking, we watched Incendies, and I that was good with subtitles, and of course Godzilla minus one.
yeah.
So yeah, you need to get on the Wong Kar Wai kick, Dakota.
You
Oh,
got
I've got Memories of Murder. I just need to watch that.
Oh,
yeah.
you need to watch Fallen Angels too.
Oh boy.
And Happy Together. You're gonna love
Oh,
Happy
definitely.
Together.
Wait, is that the same dude from Old Boy that plays in this, or is that a different dude?
In the raid or in
Yeah, in the raid.
Nah,
nah, I think
nah,
it's a different actor.
different actor.
Okay.
Which that's another movie y'all need to watch.
Yeah.
Very messed up. Very messed up movie, but it's really good.
All right.
So
So,
back to the raid. Back
uh,
to the
so,
raid.
so, so who wants to start with the spoilers, or do you want me to start?
I'm gonna let you start. These are your
Oh,
movies,
wait,
below.
wait, wait. I just had
So,
I'm so sorry. I just remember what I was gonna say about Rama. I know. And this goes into spoilers. I like how his action in a lot of action movies, like the hero is naturally like somebody that like they just have these amazing abilities or they trained in this dojo or you know what I mean? Not necessarily like in Asian films, but it's just in action movies in general. You know what I mean? As it's always like the background is very action specific, whereas Rama builds his background from survival. His
Yeah.
survival instinct is entirely what builds his skill set. So then in the sequel, his skill set comes off more like an action movie, but you know it's built from genuality, not
Oh,
from off-screen whatever exposition. Like we've seen him earn his way up to being that like big action
yeah.
hero character.
It's most definitely show not tell, and I just love about that about a Ray movie. Speaking about Rama, I'm going to dive into spoilers. I love the film. Before getting to spoilers, make sure y'all see the Raid 1 and 2. Like seriously, watch them. Like watch them right now. You know,
if you,
while
I could.
yeah. Anyways,
So if you,
After
no,
this,
wait,
watch them.
hold up. If you guys are in America, I don't know, below you could say wherever they are available. If you got no in Canada, in America, they're available on Prime, Hulu, and Paramount Plus.
And there's one more, Pluto TV. It's a free option with ads, no sponsor.
speaking of Rama, I love how this movie opens up with Rama training, becoming this cop, and I think that's a great way to hook the audience into the Ray film. I also love the dialogue between his dad of him trying to bring someone back. And later on, it's revealed that he's trying to bring his brother back, which brings out an interesting dynamic that his younger brother is part of this crime lord's plan, and having different sides of the story between the family dynamics. I thought I really loved, but it also shows that Rama is a family man. He cares about his family so much. He has a wife that's pregnant with a son, which is hits you in more of an emotional push, and you really want to root for the character of Rama because he's such a likable guy that's doing everything to survive. But speaking of the villain, I love how the villain, like first time you see the villain, is him shooting some people, and then he shoots one, two people. His like he runs out of bullets, grabs a hammer instead of shooting the guy, grabs a hammer and just slams the guy in the head. It shows how much a menace this guy is, and established him of being this incredibly horrific crime lord that these people treat him like a god. And you see that in the piece of dialogue when the SWAT team is talking. And I love that SWAT team scene is this apartment building is a no cop zone. It's super dangerous. And you find out why it's so dangerous later on in the film. And I think having those subtle moments in the beginning establish what's going to happen during the film, and it progresses really well. And I think the beginning is a really great way. The way they start the beginning was a great way to continue the story. Uh, I like Sammy Tyler before a bit.
No, and back to what you were talking about with the villain, especially, like it kind of sticks to that structure of like it's simple, like it's not rocket science. We don't need to have him do this crazy monologue. Let's show his beliefs and his ethics through
Yeah,
his
exactly.
actions. And it's very simple, it's graphic, but it's enough to where you're like, okay, he's the villain. Like
Yeah,
I don't like this guy.
yeah,
He's messed up. This is very messed up. But I feel like even when the film becomes unrealistic in some of the ways it goes about certain things, it feels very grounded. It feels very real.
yeah.
Like every scenario that you see is something that I feel like could happen. Um, Granted, if somebody would make it out in some of these situations is a different story. While I do think this film has very limited, not really their plot armor, there is still some plot armor.
Yeah, a little bit. I
But it's
mean,
not insane. I think it's definitely reasonable. Like you see a lot of people that you tend to grow attached to get murdered out of nowhere.
yeah,
And that's kind of to keep you on your toes and to remind you as an audience, like you don't know if Rama's gonna make it.
yeah,
Like
exactly. And another thing I love about this movie is the sergeant talking to the SWAT team about, oh, don't underestimate Mad Dog. Don't underestimate like everyone in this building. It's super dangerous. And you understand the danger. It just adds stakes right in the beginning of the film. And another thing I like about this movie is the scene when the sergeant kills that kid not the sergeant, the lieutenant that kills that kid in the beginning by accident. Police and then just slowly slow mo's and kills the kid, and you see like go up to floor by floor, floor one, floor two, floor three, floor four, floor five, and then floor six is when they get sabotaged. And I love that montage of Tama saying, "We got company in the sixth floor, handle it." And you see the scene where the guy is tied up and there's like a machete like underneath the table, and the way he gets the machete was so badass. But I also love the scene where like those two people are just chilling in this SWAT truck, and then it just gets shot up out of nowhere. It was a little bit of jump scare too, right?
and that's I feel like a lot of the movies violence, while there is times it's insane and it's very like it's entertaining, quote unquote, it's very horrific and scary and it's depicted as horror at times. Or
Yeah,
certain scenarios come off like a horror movie. Where it's very intense and it's very naturally built,
yeah.
which I appreciate, especially like for example, like the machete scene. I think the machete scene is
Oh yeah,
incredible. And it
100%.
really builds the claustrophobia of the film, but it
Yeah.
also puts you in a scenario where it's insane and you 100% don't know if they're going to make it out okay
Uh,
or not, especially with like the blood sitting on the blade. Like
yeah.
that was really the whole
Yeah, that
time I'm
was,
sitting there like, how's he going to do it? And then he puts the glove and you're
yeah.
like, oh, okay. Like they know the audience is thinking what they're
Yeah.
thinking of the process, and that's kind of, I really love when a director knows how to frame that and how to build that,
Yeah.
and that's very present here, and it's very present in both films. But Dakota, what were you thinking, man? Anything?
So Bilal was going off of the attack on the truck if it is jump scare. Not for me that much because I've watched plenty of like movies like that, so I kind of knew it was going to be coming soon. And especially a lot of these jump scare moments in this movie with some high tense, it's like the gunshots out of nowhere or the sniper bullets that you don't know that's going to be there. And I think after watching so many of these type of like cop movies, robbery movies, and stuff like that that have these things, I just got used to it. But overall, like the you were talking about the first part, the hammer. It really got me. That was kind of the jump scare that really got me because like I saw that from the trailer, but it's like it was a little bit more tensed
Yeah.
than I thought. And I kind of like you said, it shows how brutal this villain is. And not only that, but like you go back when Rama, it says the he has that training sequence at the beginning.
Yeah.
And it's like technically you don't know who this guy is and what he's going to do. You don't know if he's a cop, if he's a SWAT, if heck he could just be an assassin for all we know. And he has a family. I love how it shows the family dynamic of him. It's not he's because we find out that he's brutal, he's menacing and everything, but he also has a family. He's a family man. I kind of really like how Garrett, it's Evans, right?
Gary Evans, yeah.
How Garrett Evans shows this because, of course, he has written these movies also. But besides that, so I was wondering, did you guys think of when the brother looked at the screen when Rama was fighting everybody? Did it ever click with you that could be his brother or friend, or did
Uh,
that carry on later in the movie?
I definitely did thought I was like brother in the beginning, especially with the opening dialogue is like opening dialogue between Rob and his dad was like, I'll bring him back. And it's like, oh, I wonder when that's gonna go full circle. And during the monitor scene, I have that idea, oh, that's probably Rob's brother.
I definitely thought, I definitely thought around then was whenever they were kind of like starting to talk more about that.
I'm going back to that montage scene between the criminals just taking off the cops. Didn't it give you a little bit of John Wick vibes? A little bit, especially during the end of John Wick, the first one when Willem Dafoe's character gets killed and Parker gets killed. A little bit.
It definitely felt like it was like a finality to it, or like there was kind of like that Order 66 kind of vibe. That's just like the Star Wars in me, but like
Though I
where,
know what Sam was talking about from
where like
Order
it like
66
where
as
like
well.
it's a build up. It's like a build up to
Yeah.
this political collapse. It feels like something you would see like at the end of a series of a show, and it kind of echoes that. I know that's not intentional. It's just how I perceived it. Um, and it's really cool to see like all that kind of within the plot. You know what I mean? Because you're not really looking for that, but that's kind of what is presented as like what's going on in the background of everything, and it kind of just adds to the like, I don't know what the hell is going to happen kind of vibe of the movie.
Yeah,
Like that
exactly.
you never are fully predicting what's going to happen. Like even when I thought, for example, that Rama would make it out, which he does, it wasn't in the way that I thought it would be, or that it would lead into where it did in the sequel.
Yeah,
So even when you feel like you understand it or like you're fully comfortable with what it's telling you, it's not fully trustworthy. There's
yeah.
always kind of a hidden thing with it, and I like that feeling. It makes film unpredictable and it keeps you into it.
Remember the scene where like the cops are trapped in this one spot and Rama like gets I don't know what he gets, but he gets like a grenade to refrigerator and just explodes it.
Oh, it's a
Um,
propane. He put the
propane,
propane
yeah,
in
yeah,
the refrigerator.
Yes, I saw.
That was
Oh,
some Indiana Jones ass shit.
bro.
Like
I
I was
love,
about it. I was about it.
that's
yeah.
the scene they knew he meant business.
It was
That was a
over.
that was a scene where I loved that Rama was like tapping the floors real quick to see which one's like hollow and that like could break easily. It shows that he's intelligent too.
And also, okay, this is so off topic, but
Okay,
on topic. Tell
okay,
me this movie doesn't give Rainbow Six vibes.
I never seen.
Oh, yes,
See,
it does.
yeah, it
Holy
does.
crap,
With
it
the
does.
windows and everything, but more
Especially the
gore.
floors and like the walls you could bust through.
Or like when they
Yeah.
get clipped through the window, I'm like, damn, bro, he died in
The spear through the window.
he died in the first 30 seconds of the match. That's what I'm sitting there thinking, like, homie got clipped.
But
That's just side note, but
I love the suspense they built off with the machete leader. Like it starts with with the sergeant, where the sergeant's trying like like thinking about like getting out there to kill them. Like you see the sergeant's mindset a little bit, and then it builds up to that scene where that doctor is helping the kid, not the kid, the character who's like injured after the whole sequence of the refrigerator scene. They're just like trapped behind this like wall thing, and you see the machetes going, and one that just hits Rama right there. Uses the glove to make sure nothing happens. If I was in that situation, I'd be screaming. Like,
yeah,
let's be real.
you're just sitting there like, oh fuck, what's gonna happen? Like, are they gonna get found? Or like, because you know the movie still got some time left, but you're kind of sitting there like, what is gonna happen?
Yeah. But then it slowly builds up to this epic hallway fight scene. So much great camera work. It's so fast paced. There's a sequence where they said the machine person says, take his leg, and Rama just quickly moves out of the way and just does kind of like a backflip kind of thing, like rolls backwards, and then he's fighting. And I like the scene that goes like in a circle motion, and then it just takes different camera angles, and I think that sequence is so badass and so effective. And I love the way this sequence ends with Rama taking his spear out a window with a machete guy. I don't know how he survived that, to be honest, because that was kind of over the top for me. But
I love the camera
That's
work
where the
on that
plot
shot.
armor. Yes, the camera work in this movie really builds how closed in and how survival everything is. And I just really stuck out to me to where I wanted to see more of this director's work post that movie.
I'm pretty sure this director did a horror movie with Dan Stevens.
Oh, you already got me on that. Let me look that up real quick.
I'm not
Dan
sure.
Stevenson horror movie. That
Hold
just is
up.
like a combo.
He did Apostle.
Apostle, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, on Netflix. Written, directed, and edited by Gareth Evans.
Yeah, Gary Evans, bro.
Okay, this is gonna be on my watch list now.
But you could tell Gary Evans could not. Yeah, Gary Evans. I didn't say Edwards this time. We're chilling. Gary Evans, he could do like so many different styles of film. Like he's like a diverse actor. Like you don't see like so much creativity in the action film. And you see a Garrett Evans movie with the Raid 1 and 2, you see like, oh wow, this guy knows how to do action. He knows how to build up action. He knows how to do suspense with action really well. And it's such a great director of doing that. It makes you feel like you're part of something special.
100%. And it's very intentional, the kind of perspective he's trying to show you, but also just is this his debut?
No, I think not.
I
No?
don't believe so.
No, I think
Either
he does other movies with this main character.
Well, either way, I feel like this was definitely a good starting point for his filmography. Like just watching it from the get-go, 100% made me on board to see how he approaches even other genres of movies. And I really want to know what his DP has also done more of.
So no, he done one other movie. I think right before this. No, he done two movies right before this one. He done one called Footsteps, and I don't know how to say the other name. I don't want to butcher it, but it stars the guy who plays Rama in this. So he
Okay,
has a connection with him already before the raid.
that makes sense. That's cool.
Another thing I love about this movie about the character Roma, right in the beginning, you see that doctor and trying to get medication to his wife, and no one else trusted the doctor except for Rama. And that plays a role when Rama's friend is injured, and that doctor helps him get recovered. It just shows that Rama is a good dude and has humanity inside of him.
Okay, so I was also looking this up. One of the cinematographers who DP'd for the first Raid movie also DP'd for Monkey Man.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
that's cool.
Um, I'm gonna pronounce the name as best I can. Damas Imam Sapano. He also did Raid 2 as well.
oh yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, no, I don't know. I just feel like these movies as a whole are very special. There's just kind of this special energy about them that, like, if they never made a sequel, I think the Raid would still be as phenomenal as it is. But I think with a sequel, it expands its universe in a way that it is more than I would have ever thought of the property to be. And
Yeah,
I'm glad that it hasn't spawned into chaos with spin-offs and stuff like that, that it's still very contained in like this small 2 movie universe.
yeah. I actually Dakota, I want to hear your thoughts on the hallway fight scene. With the machete.
Okay, yes, I was going to explain that real quick. So this gives me a lot of some movies. There are some movies that I think they have took this hallway scene and they turned into their own thing. One's the Batman,
Oh
where
yeah.
and what there was another Daredevil.
Oh, an Old Boy, dude.
Oh,
I haven't
Old
seen
Boy
Old
came,
Boy. I haven't seen Old Boy. That's the thing.
but
But
Old Boy came
he
out
could
way
probably got
before,
it from
dude.
Old Boy. That's the thing, though.
Well, Old Boy was before
Yeah,
Because that was
in
03.
2003, yeah. But the that hallway scene very much echoes that too.
Very
in my
action,
opinion.
very gritty. I like you said. I loved some of the line delivery in this scene. It's a lot of, like you said, there's kind of some plot armor because there's not realistically that one person could survive 20 people in one hallway like with this. They could be, but it's gonna be hard.
Bruce Lee.
Okay, that's why I was just thinking of watching this movie. I'm like, this is a lot of Bruce Lee in this. I'm like,
yeah.
this could have starred Bruce Lee if they made it back in the day.
He
But
apparently, yeah.
what you were saying?
I'm glad I didn't say what I was gonna say. So keep going.
Sammy's so unhinged, dude.
What are you talking about? Unhinged.
I don't know. Let's talk about a race.
We, ha- we have to get this on YouTube. I can't be unhinged.
Oh, yeah, true, we can't do that. But okay, I want to talk about cinematography. It's really dark in this. Oh, really dark. But I want to talk about some of the twists in this.
Yeah,
Because
go
like you
ahead.
said in the beginning, there's a lot of twists. Right to the ending, fucking lieutenant.
Yeah, the lieutenant's a piece of shit.
Yeah, he just pulls the poor dude's head off.
He's
And the bad guy is like,
he's actually
man,
the
I didn't
worst.
know you had the balls to do that. I'm like, damn.
Well, I mean, he had the balls to get 20 guys killed off of knowing they were gonna die.
Oh, he was stupid for that. That was a stupidity thing. That was not ballsy. He was
Bro.
just stupid for that shit.
Yeah, exactly, man.
And I like how the Raid 2 from the get-go
All right,
establishes. Whoa,
Yeah,
hold
up,
Whoa,
brother.
we're not on the spoilers yet.
We're not going that
we're
far.
not
We're
on the
not
Raid
on
2
those
yet.
yet. We gotta wait.
But I like the scene between Bilal, I want you to say their names. I'm going to say it. Boy Kills World guy and I forgot his name
All right,
already.
I know what scene you're talking about, right? Are you talking
Yes.
about the fight scene between Sub-Zero's actor and Yaya and Ruben, right?
Yes. I love that.
Bro, I love how that scene opens up between Chaka, played by Joe Taslim. Shout out to Joe Taslim. I love Joe Taslim. Anyways, and Yaya Ruben's Mad Dog, because Chaka like pulls up a knife, and then you see Mad Dog pull up a gun, and you see this like subtle moment of Mad Dog just controlling the scenario of just pointing at a gun, telling where Chaka to go. And I love the fact that Mad Dog's like, nah, I hate guns. I like doing this with my fists, and then have an absolute badass action scene where Mad Dog just absolutely murks Chaka. We're like, no problem, you know.
When you were talking about with the gun scene, that was so funny. That's like the comedy in this movie. But he's like, you go this way, you go that way.
But also, it's just like I love that's visual. It's like let's not have a lot of dialogue here. Let's keep this moment intense. Let's do movements. You know what I mean? It's not like I feel like it
It's
still
like
would have been
intensity.
effective if he was like get up. It still would be effective, but like the choice to do this and keep it silent, it makes it's just more effective as a
I
viewer.
think they picked the perfect actor for it to do that part.
I
also,
feel like
though.
everyone in this movie is casted really well.
Yeah.
Including the next movie, which we're about to get into.
Yeah.
But not right now.
Yeah. Oh man, but I love that scene so much. It shows that Mad Dog is so controlling, but he just doesn't like doing it the easy way. He likes doing it the hard way. That makes him even more of a terrifying villain, man. Like this guy's just doing this with hand-to-hand combat, bro. It's crazy. And we'll talk about that final battle.
It's clean. It's clean. He's been training for this, and it shows.
Yeah, but another thing I love about this piece of dialogue between Rama and the underdog part of it is when they were separated. And the lieutenant's like, "Oh, not that." The lieutenant's like, they're asking, "Do you think Rama and the other guys gonna be alive?" They're like, "A rookie and a cripple, no chance." And then you see Rama survive. Like they're like, that's
I love how I said rookie, and I'm like, you don't know who this fucking guy is.
Yeah, exactly.
The ambition on this man, it's understated.
It's like those little pieces of dialogue make this movie so great about it. It's like subtle. If you listen to it, you're gonna catch it. Like, oh, what's gonna happen next? Oh, like it's unpredictable too with a simple story, man.
But also, what were you going to say, below?
No, I was going to say, where are we going to talk about a twist again?
So it's kind of the twist once we find out that Rama and the
Andy.
other guy's brothers is Andy.
Andy
is brothers, but after their talk and they separate from each other,
yeah,
and he goes back to the main Andy goes back to the main bad guy,
yeah,
and he's like, "Oh, it's a comedy thing also right there of when he's like, he brought a body, you brought nothing." He's like, "Let me see the top of your hands. There's nothing. Let me flip your hands."
That scene was so scary, bro. Like I was,
It was kind of funny though because you knew it.
But
and then he lost his fingers.
Oh yeah,
that scene was hilarious.
No, not that. That's what that was like. What the? You
didn't think that was funny?
No. Okay,
he earned
to be
it.
honest with you, was that CGI blood for that?
No.
No.
Or that was just cinematography?
Special effects.
Anyways, let's talk about Andy. I love that elevator fight scene. Because we don't know who Andy is in this scenario because we didn't know about him being Rama's brother. But that fight scene was really cool. It shows that Andy's not part of his life. He's trying sort of get away from it to be with Rama. But I love that scene between Rama and Andy when they're pulled up together, pause. The scene when Rama's like, "Oh, you're gonna be an uncle. I'm gonna have a son," and that subtle family bond. I love that.
I love that movie. That's because he kind of looks like him. He's like, "You got fucking go pregnant? How did you even get it, girl?" That's what his face looked like. But I kind of like that dynamic of that scene because you see, I think of what they used to be as brothers when they were younger.
Yeah.
Then the downfall of what they thought, because of course Andy just thinks like, oh yeah, Dad's not. He never thought of me as the good son, like you were the good son. I was nothing. I'm trying to do this right now to make myself something. So when I come back, he'd be like, "Oh, you're the better son. You done a lot more than what your brother did."
Yeah, and you definitely have those family rivalries like play out, especially if you have a younger, older sibling. You definitely have that, something that someone could relate to, and that just brings this like human nature to these insane action movies as a whole. Yeah,
But it's definitely obsessive here to go to the degree that he goes to for acceptance. And I think the movie also takes time to show, even though it's realistic, it's still insane. Like you shouldn't. There's a level to it where he's taking it this dangerous obsession.
yeah. I'm gonna go unrelated again. But still talk about Roma. The scene where after he spears the machete leader through the window. I love the scene that shows his family, like his wife, how much he loves his wife. That little like thing that shows his mind, and that's what's giving him drive to keep going and pushing forward for this mission. And I like that element. I love that his family is his main motivation for the story.
And yeah, and I don't know. I feel like that makes him even more of a likable character.
Yeah.
And he gives Peter Griffin a run for his money. He's definitely the family guy.
And Dom.
You just do Peter
So,
Griffin Dom into just a raid. Like,
well, Dakota,
what
it's
is
great.
this?
It's great to hear that you're back.
But let's get back to the raid.
Any other spoiler thoughts about the raid before?
Oh
The
man, 100%.
all right. Let's keep going.
I want Dakota to go first, dude.
Oh, okay. So what I was going to start talking about is the ending. I love the very ending of
Um,
after we get. Okay, but before that part,
thank you, thank you. But that's what,
um, there was a scene. I don't know if you gonna mention the scene below. It's when the lieutenant is asking the bad guy, "Show me the way out. I want to get out." And there's a point of when the guy, he's like, "You don't even know what you got yourself into."
yeah,
He's like,
exactly.
he's
And he
like,
clips the
"Your
guy.
boss is the reason you're in here. He set the hit on you." And he's like, and I
Yeah,
love like what Sammy said. He's like, "Be quiet." Then he just shoots him. I'm like,
yeah. But the boss is Rissa, and we see Rissa in the raid too, and you understand why he's just such a scary little boss. Um, but I also, well, we're not gonna talk about the Mad Dog fight scene in the end. Like, come
Oh
on.
yeah, when
Yeah, like, are we
he's
forgetting
got the
about
light
that?
bar
Like,
right here in his neck,
I
and
all I
he's
love,
thought
still
was Halloween Kills
bodying.
during that scene.
He's still bodying them, bruh. He's
bro.
got a shit in his neck, and he is bodying a 1v2. Name another.
Okay,
He's him.
okay, chill.
Tell
No,
me I'm
no. I
wrong.
was going to ask you during the end of that fight. Did that not remind you of like a duo fatality in Mortal Kombat?
A
They
little bit,
definitely have the fatality moments in this
yeah.
movie.
But I love how they set up this fight scene because you see Roma like a little. You see the door, you see a little bit of light, and you see Roma hearing someone get punched brutally by Mad Dog. And instead of Rama going to where the lieutenant was, he goes straight to that door. And I love that Mad Dog just like casually just breaks Eddie down and then just like walks away a little bit to his like own little space. And then the fight scene just slowly builds up. And I love the fight scene is like on beat with the score. Like it's literally on beat for beat, and I love that. And you see how dangerous Mad Dog is because Andy and Roma were getting murked. Dude, not to lie, they got lucky during that fight scene.
They did, and but I like how the score isn't like ever overpowering in this movie. It's very much like accompanying everything, even when it's intense and it has like its upbeat moments, especially in the fight scenes. Like it's very like high tempo electronica, um, and it works here. Like I feel like it makes the scene more intense, but it doesn't ever feel cliche. It's very much like its own thing going on.
Yeah, and I just love like this sequence. Like you don't know what's gonna happen. You see Roma like almost die during the scene. You see um this sequence of Mad Dog was about to snap his neck, and then Andy wakes up, like gets up on time to stab him with the what's it called, light thing,
Yeah,
It's the
the
LED
LED
light.
light bar, yeah, like right
right,
there.
right in the neck, and you see the tables turn slowly from that scene, and it shows how dangerous Mad Dog is, like I said before, and it just shows how powerful he is as a villain in the exact same time. And it's such a beautiful fight scene. Probably my one of my favorite fight scenes of all time is right there in the raid. That any fight scene of the raid redemption.
I definitely agree with that. I feel like that scene specifically stuck out, and I feel like a lot of fights in this like John Wick landscape very much come at least a little bit of inspiration from that scene. You know what I mean? And like the long drive to take this one person out versus like this guy's a bad guy for 5 minutes.
Yeah,
He's
but
a bad guy for 20 minutes and it's an expanded thing, you know?
exactly. Matter of fact, even though Mad Dog dies, the actor returns to play a different character in Raid 2, and you this shows that Gareth Evans just has such a great relationship with this actor and want him to be a part of the second film. And I'm gonna dive into the ending dialogue between Rama and Andy. I love that dialogue between um Andy and Rama saying like Rama's like, come with me. He's like, um, nah, it suits me here. Just like the suit suits you, like the cop suit suits you. And I just like that dynamic between the characters.
And especially since it's kind of that harsh reality where there is other options, but he knows that, but he still sees his situation as the best situation.
Yeah.
Which there's a lot of people that are like that, who like you can show them a way out or be a way out, and it's still like your mindset is set on their to that role.
Yeah.
Um, so it's a
Um
very realistic ending, even if it's not ideal, you know.
yeah. And I like the ending that shows like the doctor from the beginning looking out the window and just like relieved that it's over. It's like, oh, this mayhem is finally over. I could go back to my life and be normal. But I just love how like it's a little bit emotional ending too, because you get like a great bond between brother to brother, but you have a great interaction where like the doctor in the beginning is like, oh yeah, this is awesome. Like I could live my life normal again. So you have those two like emotional pushes in the end that just I feel like it's a perfect ending for this film, man.
Everything definitely comes like very tightly knit by the end. Um, it doesn't feel like a movie open ended, even though it leaves a little open ended for Raid 2. It
Yeah.
doesn't feel that it's intentional. Like it very much could just exist as its own movie.
Speaking of um the comedy in this film, remember the scene where Rama excellently goes to someone's apartment and they're like, Where did he come from?
And then the guy's just standing there like,
The fuck do I know?
Dakota, what you look like you want to say something.
So I was going to go back to the ending scene, like what you guys were talking about. I think it's really good because you could see, even though that they're brothers, that they're older, and there's one's guy's mindset of I gotta do this, and the other mindset's like I gotta do this, and it's kind of like a mutual agreement at the end. It's like, okay, if you want to do this, you can go do it. I am not going to force you to. Either you can come home with me and you can live with mom and dad, or you can live your lifestyle the way you have been living for the past, I think, 7 years.
Yeah, 100%. And it's just like Rama and Andy just gained a respect for each other. And it's just like a great brother bond. And that's all I want to say about that.
Is there anything else that you want to talk about the rating?
Bro, but did you like the score through the end too? Like it added a layer of emotion too. Like I like that, because like during the action scenes, it's like intense score, like you build off the action, but the score does change a little bit to have set of emotions. Like for example, like Rama seeing his wife and son is a more emotional score. Same with the ending of this film is more of an emotional score. I feel like the score in this film is excellent because it represents the scenes really well.
No, and I feel like when it decides to break away from its conventional patterns, it does so, and it sticks out. Especially like you said with like the ending, like it doesn't. It's still in the same vein as the rest of the score, but it's very different from what we've been seeing the rest of them or been hearing with the visuals the rest of the movie.
And another thing I really like is after the main guy gets killed, it's like this whole facility of this building is like, it's kind of like they're set free now.
Yeah.
Not only like the residents there, but these bad guys of the control. Because if you see, like, the brothers like open the doors, and there was no hesitation, they automatically opened the doors.
Yeah. It, it shows that this made an impact to the residents in this apartment building that they could live life freely. I'm going to go back to the beginning scene again. I like the scene where it's just one guy chilling with a TV, and then you see like a slow build up of him getting taken down. I think that's a very effective way of the raid action just starting, right?
Yeah. Um, I'm thinking of some scenes in this. Okay, I got a good question for y'all. What's your favorite scene in this?
Let Sammy go first, bro, because he's
Um,
trolling me.
So my favorite scene, um, honestly, I would say it's the scene where they start like climbing back up to the very top, and he meets up with the lieutenant again and the other guy. Um, the scene before the knife and the gun situation, like halfway through the movie when they decide to go for the boss and he regroups with the lieutenant. Right after that scene right after, it just kind of gets in the full gear. You kind of know what Rama can do now, so you're like you're anticipating what he can do. And he just starts more people. He starts scaling the building like way more animalistically, and like it just, I don't know. I feel like there's this change in Rama that you see, and it kind of builds that like guerrilla warfare.
Yeah,
So
100%. But another scene I forgot to say is, you know when the cripple, like the guy who's injured, still stabs that one guys during one of the scenes?
yes, like
Yeah,
what?
I'm like, yo, this guy can still fight, bro.
He's
That's
limping
crazy.
and shit.
Yeah.
Okay,
Um,
oh,
I'll let Tom go and talk, bro. What's up?
so my favorite scene from this movie, Of course, I think it's got to be the end fight scene between the 2v1.
Yeah.
It's a high action tense. It's violent. It's everything you want, I think, in a kung fu action sequence. And it kind of shows like a little bit of story in this, because this is the moment when you see Rama and Andy kind of build that brothership back together.
Yeah,
And I
100%.
like how because a lot of movies don't show that. They either leave it out or they do it some sappy type of way that we don't want to see it.
It's not visually through the action in the same way that
Yeah,
this does.
but I feel like every sequence in this film, like every action scene, is telling a story. And I think that's very important. And I feel like most action movies lack that. Uh, we love Mad Max Fury Road, and I think that's another film that does an excellent job of having the action tell a story.
Yeah, show don't tell is always ideal with films, and I feel like this movie is very good at that in a genre that isn't good at that. I feel like a lot of action movies are very tell don't show.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, John
and
Wick
this takes the
franchise
opposite
is
approach.
another great example of that.
Yeah, like I love John Wick, but they'll do that Hollywood trope shit, and it's just like, okay, like no offense, it's good, but we've seen it,
Yeah.
Versus like where this feels like, okay, this is a film. Like this goes all the way through. This sticks with what it does and doesn't try to make it corny. It has intention with its violence versus just having the violence present.
Yeah. Um, So since Dakota said my favorite scene being like the Mad Dog fight scene, the 2v1, I think my second favorite action scene or favorite scene in this film is most definitely the hallway fight scene with the Machete Gang. Fast movement, great camera work. It shows Rama at his full skill set, showcases that he can fight, and really shows the audience what he's made of. Like even though these cops that he's working with think he is a nobody, think he's an underdog, underestimating him, us the audience know what he's made of. And I love that sequence so much. I also love how the sequence goes into like a different room where like I don't know how to describe this. The way he just smashes the guy's neck to like the floor
Yeah, into the door frame.
into the door frame. That was really brutal. And then there's a sequence between him. He was getting beat up during like after that sequence a little bit. You see him lose a little bit. Like he gets hit.
He definitely is human in in the movie. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like they take time to show him get his ass.
Yeah,
kicked.
that's what I like about him. It's not like he's a superpower human being that could do everything by himself. He does get hit sometimes. He gets hurt, and it shows the human side, especially after seeing when he just throws the machete leader through the window, and he's like in screaming in pain and agony. It just shows that it's human, and most action movies don't show that. Most action movies like, oh, this guy is a beast. He doesn't feel no pain. Like, come on now, be a little realistic about it.
Like I said, it plays off that like Die Hard trope of like he's an everyday guy.
Exactly, and again, I said this before, but Rama being this family person in the beginning, being established and being established further after the sequence, makes you care about this character. And I think Rama is like one of the best action characters out there, without a doubt.
Yeah, I definitely think he's joined my ranks and at least like top 5 or top 10 action like stars of all time. I like action characters.
Dakota, what did you miss in our conversation?
I don't know. I had to go get a drink real quick. But is that mostly it for you guys for the raid part 1? Okay, no. Can we talk about how for the longest time I thought this whole title for this movie was the Raid Redemption, and like the second part was the Raid Redemption 2. I thought it was the whole title. I didn't know that was like the subtitle to the movie.
It's post colon.
All right. So are we gonna go through
The raid colon the redemption.
Oh,
It's post colon.
Anyways, are we gonna go through the Rotten Tomatoes scores for the
okay.
Raid
We're going to do
1?
that at the very end of
Oh,
both of these movies. So is that mostly it for you guys for the raid part?
yeah, I
Raid
think we
redemption?
we cooked this up for an hour. I think we should talk about Raid 2 now because this is gonna be a long episode, dude.
Okay, but I'll get right into the raid 2.
Okay,
Tell us anything about that.
now the Raid 2 is a very different approach to the first Raid film. As after the events of the first Raid movie, Rama has to go undercover as a character, well, undercover under the name of Yuta, and he has to go undercover to stop these crime syndicates inside of Indonesia and to protect his family.
And I,
And Aiko UI's return as well. Yeah, that's it.
and like spoiler wise, I just love how open this.
Wait, we got spoilers?
Yeah, I thought we talked about. Did we
No,
not talk about the raid
talk,
too?
talk about your thoughts, bro. I was just reading the plot, bro.
Oh, my bad. I thought we'd already did that for the raid 2.
All right, you can talk about Raid
No.
2 thoughts. Not spoiler, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. Watch the Raid 2. Like it's amazing.
Okay.
Like, no regrets. Anyways,
No regrets.
I kind of want to get into it real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
Sorry, Dakota. My bad.
I can rewatch both of these. I'm doing a little switch in my head right now. It's back and forth. Sometimes I'm thinking, I'm like, the first raid's better. Then I'm like, oh, the second raid's better, because there's, even though this is in the same series, these movies have two different like plots. It's like two different movies, because you know how normally a franchise is like each movie's like constant with like what their narrative is.
Yeah.
Like the first one's like, this is a Bill and Raid movie, cops and everything, right? And this one's like, oh yeah, undercover work and stuff. I'm like, this is totally two different plots, and it's like, it's not consistent, but it's like, I love it.
But I feel like it plays off of the first one very
It's like
consistently.
fresh, kind of.
I mean, it just makes sense to have a different story for the first one because, first of all, higher budget, you can do more. So,
and I think actually Sony had actually control of this. I think they bought the first one, the rights for the first one, and then they had control of the second one. That's why everything looks so much better.
Well, the other thing too is that I feel like you can't do the raid again without changing it. Like you can't do a same gimmick twice. Like, and obviously with the ending of the first one, it left room for a sequel, but it was going to be different. And I like that they went with that approach. It still sticks to the same tone, I would say, that it does with the first movie, just very differently. Like there's moments where it's a lot more calm. There's moments where they're building more story. There's moments where it's taking time to say something, but it's still that gruesome, grotesque horror of like combat and just human nature. And I think it adds a lot of new characters. It builds a lot off of the older characters. And Rama as a whole becomes a lot more established here. The action is so creative. It feels like they took a lot more time to like come up with a lot of different ideas and different things and how to execute them. And I just like that there's so many memorable like areas and moments from this movie. It doesn't feel this one feels more like a journey than the first movie. The first one feels more like getting a task done, while this one is very much like a hero's journey.
Oh, 100%. And I love, like, speaking of Sammy, I love the fact that second one has world building. You'll understand these like crime stuff that's happening in Indonesia. You understand different parties it takes place in.
Sammy? Yeah, I definitely feel like
I
it gives you
I thought you froze, man. I'm
No, 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 no,
scared.
no. I didn't freeze. I was sorry. I was locked in listening. I'm sorry.
You scared me, bro. I was gonna talk about more, but you can talk now.
No, you're good. I didn't mean to scare you. I was just gonna say that, like, yeah, and when it does expand, it feels like it's within the vision of the director still. It doesn't feel like it's compromising anything from the first movie. Um, because I definitely had that feeling at first where, like, I was like, okay, this is very different from the first movie. I like the direction it's going in. Can it be consistent like the first movie in its approaches to everything? And it is. And I feel like it shows you, like, it really builds on how horrific its action can
Yeah.
be, but it's
Um.
scattered, and I like that it's scattered. Like, I never know when to expect this next horrible fight scene to happen.
Exactly. And
Versus the first movie where it's like, okay, we're back.
exactly. But I also like the fact the second one is more subtle. It's like much more slower film, but it uses the runtime, like a 2 hour, 30 minute runtime, extremely well. Because I was like engaged and hooked to the story during the whole film. Like the first time I watched it, and the second time I watched it too. Even though it gets a little complex a little bit here and there, it's still a really consistent story that's like really special, the way that Gareth Evans does it, man.
And it has a lot more characters in it and knows how to juggle those characters.
Yeah,
And I think that's what's really important with this movie too, is like I said, it just takes a lot more risks than the first movie, and it shows something that you aren't 100% sure if it's in their comfort zone, but they show you that it is.
yeah, but
And it builds that confidence, and so, like, by the end of the movie, I'm 100% confident in how they're going to go about it.
yeah, but Ghost risks really do pay off in this film, especially when we talk about the spoilers about this film, because I feel like every subtle moment has something to represent. Every little piece of detail has something to represent, and that's why I love the Raid 2 so much. And I prefer the first one because how simple it is and it's much shorter, it's easier to rewatch. But I still love the second Raid film a lot.
And I still think it's in that same ballpark as the first movie, and I can see why people think the second one's better, and I can also respect and see why people think Raid 2 is consistent. At least in the same regard as the first movie.
Yeah.
Even though they're very drastically different films.
All right, Dakota, I'll let you speak now, man.
He's been like this posing.
I'm so sorry, man. I love
Can
you.
we get into spoilers, because there's a really thing I want to talk about.
Go ahead, bro. Spoilers for Raid 2.
We're cutting the spoiler. It's a spoiler active zone right now.
Yes, Sammy.
Okay.
Dakota, talk. Thank you.
The ending, I hate not the ending. I hate the beginning. I really hate the beginning. You know why? Because we get this great relationship thing at the ending between Andy and Roma, and what they do, they just want to kill Andy at the beginning of the damn film. I'm like, what? I know it sets
Okay,
up the story, but it's like, bro, we just got a good relationship between these brothers, and you just
okay.
kill them off.
But that's
I agree with you 100%, but in a realistic world of crime, that's probably going to happen most definitely, especially where Andy's staying behind, and you're going to be like, if Andy's staying behind in his apartment, these other crime lords gonna find him and kill him, and it is a realistic approach to the storytelling too.
But I also think it kind of changes how you see the ending of the first movie too, because you're like, okay, he probably knew he was gonna die, and the first movie doesn't frame it like that. It's just kind of like he chooses his path. Well, it's like maybe he knew he chose that path and what it was gonna lead, and what does that have to say about his character and how he views himself?
Yeah, but
Um,
shout out to Bijo. Hopefully said his name right, but
Bicho or Bayo, whichever one.
Bijo, I think. Shout out to him because like I thought that actor did such a great job of portraying a villain. He is like he is a villain that well who is crippled. He can't walk properly, but he still has so much power and such something really great about him.
Yeah, no, he was a character that it took a minute for me to really like. Like at first I kind of liked him, but then he introed him kind of late for me in the script. But then like the more I got to see him and the more they built him, especially that scene with the five guys, that
yeah,
was
like,
that was
no.
no,
Five
no
Guys.
that's not the scene I was talking about, Dakota. It's another scene.
You saw the scene with the conversation with Ucho and Bicho.
Who the fuck is
Yeah,
Bucho?
yeah, in the red like velvet
Yeah, the
carpet.
red room. Yeah.
Like
The
that, like
restaurant.
yeah, Uko.
Uko, yeah, that's
Okay,
one.
okay. This is what I had a brain fuck up because I thought Uko was the bad guy from the beginning that killed Andy. I thought, what the fuck? I'm like, are we going back in time? I'm like, it's not the same guy though. I'm like,
Nope,
but they kind
different
of look
dude.
alike.
The guy who killed was the assassin. And
Oh
the
fuck, I know what scene you talk about now.
the scene with the hammer, bro.
Yeah, no, I know. I know what you talk about when Uko and the other guys talking, and Uko kills all the five guys. Now I know what
Yeah, and
scene
he
you're fucking
starts to
talking
throw
about.
as he
I'm
talks
Yeah,
to
so
them.
bro.
stupid.
That scene was intense, but that also kind of like it made me want to see the other guy's intentions more and like want to understand him as a character.
Yeah,
And
can we
that
talk
was
about?
something. It took, like I said, the conversation. It took me a minute because I wasn't buying it, especially with the gloves and shit. I was like, I've seen your anime ass before. All right,
True,
like what's this guy
he does look
about?
like an anime
He
character.
does. He just gives anime, and
What
I
the
was like,
fuck
what's
is
this
the
guy? What's this guy
tattoo?
up to?
Oh, the tattoo, it represents the person that was trying to kill him in prison.
Oh,
I was
okay.
wondering, like,
I
what the
couldn't.
fuck is the
I
tattoo
knew it had
mean?
to do something with the prison, but I couldn't remember like what directly it was. But because they lingered on the guy, so I was like, okay, so that's something.
Because of course, when he's like, okay, back to when he's killing the five guys, when he has the box cutter and the guy, and he stops, and that one guy's throwing, he's just having a normal conversation. I'm like, dude, I'm like, one, this is damn gnarly, and two, this is like, I'm like, I'm over here like grimacing. I'm like, damn, I'm like, dude's just like dying, and dude's just giving him like
Bro.
no mercy.
Yeah, none.
Bro. But you know the scene with that pisses me off of him is like the scene when he's talking to those girls and kind of like punches one of them and forces one of them to sing. It just showcases he's just a terrible person.
And it shows how psychotic he is as a person, but also as a villain to a level where like you also understand why his father won't let him be in control because
Yeah.
he knows him and he knows that he's unstable and
Yeah,
that
but
he is not like he isn't capable of maintaining it. And
yeah.
they show that especially towards the end politically when he starts to get involved and kind of get mouthy in certain situations where he
Oh,
shouldn't speak
he
at
goes
all.
crazy.
Oh, he
Oh,
does
he's
go.
and he if it wasn't for the obvious twist with him and his father, not obvious prior, but obvious since we're talking, um, that also kind of solidified where the father was and how he viewed him as a person, and it was him being honest, even if it was in a toxic and unhealthy way, as of beating his kid, because it
Yeah.
shows that it's terrible. What he's telling him is true, but what the way he goes about it is abusive. And I
Yeah.
think that's this whole statement alone that obviously echoes in Uko and his character.
Yeah, but thing about Uko is he's trying to get out his father's shadow. He's like, oh, I want to be great. I want to be this leader. Like, but this father's like, nah, son, you're always gonna be under me, and I like that about it.
You know who Uko kind of reminds me of?
Makarov, Call of Duty.
No, if he was still alive, I think Brandon Lee could play that character
Who? I'm
because
sorry.
Brandon Lee, yeah, like Crow,
Yeah, I
Bruce
know
Lee's
who.
son that died during the Crow production.
Yeah.
He kind of looks like Uko. So I'm like, if Brandon was still alive, he could have played the role of Uko.
See, I think Uko needs to be in the live action Yakuza series that's coming out.
What
But
the fuck is a Yakuza?
okay, let's
What?
God. All right, let's go to the beginning of this Raid 2 film. I loved how this movie has the dialogue between this person trying to get Rama out of the situation. It's like, oh, Rama, you have to go undercover, and Rama's like, oh, I heard Andy said you're someone I could trust. And then it's like, okay, you see that conversation between that person and Rama go undercover. And I love that sequence where the lieutenant absolutely get murdered and killed. I'm like, thank you. But I like that sequence that Rama, as Yuda, being undercover, has to gain the respect and I could keep
Yuko?
Yugo's respect in prison by saving him in the prison. And I like that time jump between that and goes to like a ear jump, and you see that sequence of Rama finally be in of this plan and be like trusted with him and his father. And I think that that was a great way to begin this film.
And it definitely I think the movie does a good job of kind of juking you out with their personalities. Like they're evil, you know that they're supposed to be bad, but you don't really get that from first get go, especially when they're talking with like Uko and like Rama. Like you don't really understand how insane Uko is yet.
Yeah,
And so like when him and his father meet up, it doesn't seem like him and his father have those kind of issues.
yeah,
It very much builds off of that like rich, higher image
yeah,
that like wealth and class show, but I like that that's the only time that they really focus on showcasing their wealth
yeah. But
versus the father being more focused on showcasing reputation. It
like,
seemed like.
you know what pisses me off? The father make a Rama take off all his clothes.
It makes sense though. It's definitely a disturbing scene, but it's one of those where it's like you saw it coming, and I like that Rama sees it. I like that Rama calls the cops and he's like, "Hey, don't do that shit again. Like that, y'all are dumb. Like y'all will get me killed. We're not doing that. I run this. You want me to? I run this." It's kind of shows how Rama's grown as a character too.
Yeah,
If he's being thrown back in the ring, he wants to own the situation, and
yeah.
rightfully so. And so I just really feel like that scene established so much, but it was also just interesting to see Rama in a prepared state versus like improvisational survival state.
Oh, 100%.
And he's on that same level as his survival state.
Yeah. But yo, speaking of the cell phone scene, the scene when he's talking to his wife and then he hears his son's voice, it's like put on like I want to hear my son's voice. I'm like, bro, why does this movie make me like cry a little bit?
They definitely know when to get emotional. And I like that that's the only time we really hear from the wife and son. Because I think there's a part of Rama that starts to realize he's not gonna make it. Like he starts to figure it out quick. Like he starts to know he's like, I'm too deep in this. There's too much to this. Whatever I do, it's not going to end it. And I'm going to get more involved. I'm done. You know what I mean? I don't think he recognizes it then, but I think he starts to have that seed planted. You know what I mean? Well, towards the end where he's like, I'm done. Like I can't do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also like the scene that you see the Japanese guy right in the beginning, and you see that character play a bigger role later on, especially when they're trying to do a deal with Yuko and his father. And then you see that character in the end of the film, which we're going to talk about later. But I like how this movie just shows that right off the bat.
Yeah, and I like how I don't know. You still have that uncertainty from the first movie where it's like I don't know how long this guy's gonna last, or if he is gonna last. Um, and I feel like when they introduce somebody, it's very much in that same regard here, even though they stick around a lot longer than the
Yeah.
first movie.
But like the first job with Uko and Rama was with the deal with Tupan, being the person that owns $5,000 extra to Yuko, and I like that sequence. That guy was messed up, by the way.
Wait, the
Tupan.
porno area?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
That was pretty messed up. What that guy was doing, but it led to this really epic chase sequence between Rama and Tupan, and I feel like that scene was really established well and shows the little bit of action we get in the beginning. But oh my god, we didn't even talk about the. I'm gonna let you talk about the prison fight scene, man. Go ahead.
No, yeah,
Oh,
okay. Wait, before the prison fight scene,
can I say
I
one
just
thing?
really love this part where Rama goes back in the building to save the pegging strap on during the fight sequence
Yeah.
as a way of really strategizing and multitasking in the fight.
Yeah. Okay, Dakota, good talk, bro.
Okay, one one thing is, don't ever trust nobody in prison. And you see that the dude that Uko is with when he first meets Rama, and the prison yard, oh hell, he just wants to kill him now. I'm like, dude, you can't trust nobody.
Yeah.
I also like how they show Indonesian prison. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's a lot rough, a lot more rough than what we see depicted in Western jail films, especially with like them walking barefoot and everything. But the mud scene,
Oh my god. Yeah.
the mud scene is crazy, and I think it's crazy for the moment. It's crazy for what it is and how
Oh,
it's set
yeah.
up because it's set up so naturally and so well that like
Bro.
it just works. But I think in the long run it works too because you have its depiction of violence and how Rama starts to see and
The,
wake up to his like environment and how violence is and how his actions are and what he has. There's a scene. There's a specific shot I remember where he beats a man with a rock and crushes his head, and it's a fast. They
Oh,
don't focus
yeah.
on it. It's a fast cut, and they cut to someone and they go to someone else. But it kind of shows how much Rama is taking in and how much he's had to do,
Yeah.
and now it's a choice. It's different than the first movie. The
Yeah.
first movie, it was purely survival. He's back in the ring because he chose to. Even if he didn't mean to, or even if he felt tied down to, it was still a voluntary choice he made. And
Um.
so that definitely has a massive effect. And it kind of builds off that energy from the first movie where it feels like a war movie at times, especially when
Exactly.
they're
Yeah.
laying in
Yeah.
the mud.
okay. I
Uh.
need to ask real
Let's
quick.
go. So you do go
Just
ahead.
one question. How did this dude get a broom in of the prison?
I don't know. Maybe it
That
just,
actually is a good question.
actually it makes sense because like cops do make prisoners clean shit. So maybe they were cleaning
In the
something.
prison yard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been there. Listen,
You've never been there, bro.
I'm
Anyway,
joking. I'm joking. Listen, Dakota's over here telling us to not mess with people in prison, like he's been to prison too.
No, no. It's because it's in every prison movie. They get a friend that all of a sudden, let's just stab the guy in the back. Literally.
exactly. But you know what I love about this mud scene is, you see a like a prisoner escaping, and you just see like a sniper snipe them, and it's like the camera just moves to the sniper, and then just moves to the prison guards, and I like how that flows, and I also love when they what's that called when they stick the stick thing, baton, like the thing that
Yeah,
I'm trying to.
baton.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I like the sequence when the baton hits Rama and like you feel it. Like you legit feel it, bro. And I like that. But I like the scene when Yuko is like kind of like absolutely destroyed and Rama sees that and starts going ham and going crazy to save Yuko. Because if Yuko dies, he's screwed basically. This is like his only opportunity to get out of the situation he is a part of, and he's undercover as a character at Yuta. And it's just such a great sequence of hey, it gains the trust of Yuko, and it gets him into being into the organization. But I like the dialogue between the dad and Rama the first time. It's like, we were trying to get you in earlier, but you killed the wrong person.
And I like how blunt he is, as even when he's professional. Like, he's professional, but he's still like scary. You know what
Exactly.
I mean? He
Yeah.
still isn't afraid to tell you how he feels and the truth. He's gonna be blunt, but it's still like it's eerie. It's just eerie. But Dakota, anything that stuck out to you, man?
Okay, I noticed in this movie's really brutal. Some of the kills in this is I like watching horror movies and stuff, and there's going to be some fucked up shit in that. But it's like, I don't know why Achilles cuts. Whoo, that gets me. And there was so many damn in this movie.
Oh, dude, when they get him from the back and just rip.
Oh yeah, I
Oh,
hate those things too. Of
Yeah,
like
they're
either the
coming back.
wrist, the legs. I'm like, oh fucking
bro,
shit.
that whole club scene, bro, the guy banging the person's head like
Yeah.
rapidly. Oh my, holy shit. Uh,
But I also like that kind of, to me, I feel like this movie compared to the first movie has a statement on violence. Like a very clear to the audience, it wants to say something about what it's doing, versus like the first one's more about talking about how far humans will go. This movie's more about like, even though it's in that same regard, it's more geared towards like, at what point is this too much, or you're an animal.
yeah,
I was
exactly.
going to say also, does it not feel like the first one is like fast paced and like quick, while this one takes its time, slows down, and
Oh
tells you a
yeah, this one
story?
definitely has more of a story structure, which is something I really appreciate of this second one. Because the first one doesn't really have a story structure. It's just one linear story that just goes in one direction with a couple of plot twists and turns there that were really great that keeps you edge of the seat. This one's more complex. And which makes sense because corruption is complex, you know?
Yeah, and I don't know. I feel like it definitely builds up to that point where Rama like realizes it's just he can't fix everything. Um and I like when it starts to show that comparison with that other figure who is in the same boat as Rama, but
Ika?
yeah, with the machete.
No. That's not. That's Proctor's Zone, the person who played Mad Dog, right?
Yes. No. I think it's the guy with the long beard and the long hair, and he's got the machete, and he
Yeah,
meets with the woman at the diner.
yeah. That's the
Yeah.
same actor who
Okay,
played Mad
no,
Dog.
okay.
Okay.
I kind of thought, I'm like, before I knew he was a different role. I'm like, how did this dude survive the first one? Just getting like a line just dragged across his neck. I'm like, this dude has 9 lives or something. I'm like, oh damn, this is a different character. He just loves casting this dude in movies.
Well, I love that scene because initially it doesn't really seem important, but in the long run, it's one of the most important scenes in the whole movie because it shows you where Rama's heading, how they've set Rama up, and how ultimately his demise is too. Especially with how the other guy's demise happens, it echoes that very much towards the end of the movie. But it's the same energy. He has the same abilities as Rama. He can take on 20, 30 people and kill them, but he's still human. Obviously, Rama's fate is different at the end of the film. It's not really disclosed, but that same setup occurs, and that foreshadowing of that setup and that realization. And Rama still develops that same belief early on, and we see him grow into that. And I really love that scene because I feel like it makes the audience go like, this is what you hope he grows out of, and realizes that this is never going to work. And he does it way earlier, and he grows, and he does what you hope he does as a character, even if the ending isn't 100% ideal.
Yeah, but speaking of Broadstone, played by the Yaya Rubin. I love the scene that it shows like he has a kid, right? It just shows the kid a little bit. The club scene. I love the club scene so much. Where like Yuko's like, I need you to watch her, and then the music just stops, and then there's this like epic action scene that he has to fight through, and then it ends with him like smashing someone's head into well, killing some person by like smashing his head on the curb rapidly. And then you see this epic cue music of the assassin just like chilling on his car, and you immediately know he immediately knew, oh, it's over for me. Takes like gets a picture of the daughter, like his daughter, I think, and it's like, oh, I won't. He wants to see his daughter before he died, obviously. And so that scene just hits different. Because it's like, oh shit, this guy, we barely knew him, but the little dialogue makes you care about him, which is crazy to me.
And it feels like a short story within or a short film within a film. And I
Yeah,
love when movies do that. Like it has a small little scene or two where it's like, okay, this is this character, and now we're done following them. But they're big for the long haul of the
And
story.
what for me for this, there's a lot of like subplots, like you're saying in this movie, but it's like it connects to like the whole main part of this story. Like his subplot, like he's this big, bad, tough assassin, but of course he has a kid. He has had a life before. He wants to go back to that life, but of course the life he lives in now as assassin has caught up to him, and how it leads into the main plot, of course, because um he works for Uku's dad.
yeah.
And when him and Uko are at the club and they're sitting down,
Actually,
and
I think it's not Yuko. It's Bijo. Top or first is the assassin. Bijo.
Oh, okay. My
Yeah,
bad.
no, but when they're talking, because Uko's the son, right?
yeah, who was the
Yeah.
son.
Okay.
Because when he's talking to Uko in the club, and he's like, Uku's like, my father, he is not the man he used to be. He used to be the rough and tough that everyone feared him, and
Yeah,
the other guy's like, he's getting older. He controlled his anger. He's getting respect from people, and you see that like through a lot of things in real life. Like when somebody starts out, they're all rough and tough, but it's like people respect him after a while. And he's like, oh yeah, once you get the range, you're gonna have to control it, and then you can get the respect that you
yeah.
deserve.
I mean, exactly. But Yuko talking to Bujo was the scene that really portrayed his father before the whole, sequence that we go talk about later. Because it's sort of like backstabbing his father's like, oh, he cannot do this job. I'm gonna be working with this guy who's like powerful. It has the assassin, has the hammer girl, has the baseball Batman. And then it
Or
shows
the
that
brother
he's
and sister.
yeah, brother sister. It just shows that this guy's trying so hard to get out of his father's shadow, and he's doing the most horrific things to get there. And he's not getting any respect from it.
I kind of like that because um because it shows that he's not mature,
Exactly. Yeah.
and it shows later on, especially. I think it's right before the big twist happens between him and his father. Um, no, yeah, it's that scene of when it's during that scene before, of course, the twist happens, and the other guy comes into his father's office. He's like, "Oh yeah, you're old. I'm I'm him. Um, I could take these reins and do it better than you can ever could." As the immature thing, like his
Yeah.
father knows he's the immature and he's not ready for it.
All right. Okay, I'm going to just talk about this since we're on this topic. The way he kills his father was so brutal. Yeah, like he just turns his,
Yeah,
it's like he doesn't want to do it, but so he just like turns his head and like closes his eyes while doing it. But like the score when that happens just hits, bro.
and it slows down, and like you don't on. I honestly didn't expect that to happen.
Me either.
I thought what was gonna happen was the rival families were gonna start attacking
Yeah,
or intervening. I was not expecting the mutiny,
yeah, and
and that was really cool to see them pull that off, but also make it effective and not really give much of a
yeah.
hint.
I mean that scene was super like it's like a desktop scene. You could have that as your desktop, like the way it's shot, like the
Oh,
way he
100%.
looks. It looks fire, bro. Um, I'm gonna talk about like the scene where Rama is like kind of like Yuta Rama, undercover, undercover as Yuta. He's on the taxi driver, like taxi cab, and then the cab driver just gets killed by those random assassins out of nowhere. And I'm like, holy shit, I did not expect that. And then the scene when he excellently burns a cop alive because he didn't know that was a cop shows as like, oh shit, I'm basically a criminal now.
And I think that kind of puts his mindset where he gets at the end too, where it's like I'm becoming what I joined the fight. Or at least
Um,
like my fighting is the same as the criminals that I'm fighting against, and it can't be like that. I especially that scene with the car is so intense, and it echoes a lot of the first movie and its claustrophobia of being in a situation that's like, what do you do when there's like 20 guys coming in your car and you
yeah,
are in the back seat and you have to drive it?
yeah. Yeah, I knew that car scene was the first one with the cab driver one. It shows the culture a little bit, doesn't it? Like Indonesian culture a little bit at times.
Yeah, yeah. Like you get to go into some restaurants, you see the market a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I like
Maybe.
that. It shows the city a little bit, which obviously the first one couldn't do because it takes place in an apartment building. But I do
Okay,
like,
I was
No, I
going to
like that
ask you
too.
when they go in the fields to kill the people. I haven't seen the movie, but you know how technically like the cover of Memories of Murder is, and it's the cornfields.
yeah,
It reminds me of that so much. I'm like, is this what happens? And I was thinking because you always thinking there's crime, like these crime families and stuff all around the world, and it's like I kind of like what Indonesian cinema has done, especially Gareth Evans with this movie, because it kind of shows like the real life thing of good grief. Um, shows like the real life side of this and what could happen over there.
yeah, exactly. And I think it's used in a really effective way, especially with the opening. And then another sequence I love is like the three perspectives sequence when it goes from the assassin killing a person, it goes to the hammer girl killing a person, it goes to the hammer, not hammer, baseball bad guy killing that person. I love that sequence when the baseball guys like hits a person with a base, like you know,
The baseball.
hits a baseball and knocks someone out while kills someone. And I like this sequence. Is like, give me the ball.
I love that.
That was a mistake. And
Yeah,
then
because I really want to talk about those too.
go ahead.
But what you were going to say before I
I,
continue on my
I,
thing?
I was going to say I like this scene when you hear every hit of him hitting the bat with that guy, and just like
Ooh.
the camera just zooms out and zooms out and zooms out. I love that sequence so much. It's so badass. It's so brutal. And then the Hammer Girl sequence, holy shit, bro. She's such a badass, bro.
So I kind of wish we got more screen time with these. I don't know if they're twins. I probably thinking they're twins. Um, but I like this scene. I like the scenes with them in it. I kind of wish we got more of them
Yeah.
because one, they're brutal scenes that they have in it, but choreography for these fight scenes is phenomenal, especially with the girl with the hammers.
Oh
Like
yeah.
you said, that subway scene, she probably 15, 10 people on
Yeah.
there, and she eliminates all of them. And
And
just
it's really brutal. I feel like the scene when she like hit like the neck area with a hammer.
oh yeah, I'm thinking
Ugh.
no, I
God.
could see because a lot of people, I'm like, the front of the hammer don't bother me. But once she took the back of the hammer and just like started like killing people that way, I'm like, there's some points, especially like what Sammy said. She took it, she hit the person, and then like dragged it. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. Nope. But I also like, even though they're not super in the movie that long or super talked about in the movie that long, characters like that are in the movie and they're memorable and they're fun and they're like interesting enough to where you remember them post the movie, even if their role wasn't as big as it seemed like they could have been.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I just love that they brought these characters in, and they're so much fun because they're doing something really unique with the action, and they just kind of add this layer to be these like really great like boss villains for Rama later on in this film, and I think that's the main part of it. Because like let's be real, Bucho cannot do like this like fight sequences that well because he's like running with one leg right now because he's using a cane, so he cannot really do anything. Yu-Gi-Oh, he's more like a strategized villain. He doesn't go face to face punching people. He's using his like smarts to become the stronger, powerful character or villain.
And I just like that we see these differentiations in these characters and they're not super one note. Like they feel like there's a dimension to them of we don't know or we're going to know or we want to know more.
Yeah. Um Man, I really want to talk about the kitchen scene, but I'm gonna wait a little bit and let Dakota talk about other scenes he like in this film.
Hmm. I kind of like with there's a whole bunch. There's like so much in this. It's like it's packed. It's action packed and everything, but it's the point of like if you want to remember some things, you gotta rewatch this.
Yeah, 100%.
And like going back, I didn't even get my perspective on this to the scene of when Uko kills his dad,
Yeah.
and it's like, and you're thinking like, damn, he really killed his dad. It's like
Yeah.
he didn't care, and it's to the point of um where damn, what my thought just went on my head. Um,
I'm just going to add to that. I like the sequence when Uko is washing his hands and you see him like change into this like much more darker character, but he does feel guilty of doing it at the same time. You see a little bit of sense of humanity when he's washing his hands in the washroom, you know?
yeah, because not only that, but it's to the point of I kind of like it because Roma comes in that moment. It's like, oh shit, like he actually fucked up this time.
I like the fact that first thing Roman does is Ika run, like go, because he knows Ika is a good person. Like he knows that
So
for a
it
fact.
was Ika a undercover cop.
Yes, he was.
Okay, I was wondering that at the beginning because when he said the phrase of like I've been in your shoes before, but I've been here a long time. I'm like, I wonder if he's been an undercover cop, but he's
Yeah.
been so much
Um,
that he's just been into this for so long.
but I love when Rama comes in, the assassin just destroys him like easily. But I feel like that car chase scene when Rama is like hella hostage, and you see Ika getting into this car and just driving to save Rama. I love that whole sequence of that. And the car sequence is realistic. And I don't know how they do these movies without having any injuries, which is super impressive, by the way.
Very impressive.
Um, Shout out to stunt workers. Shout out to all these actors that are doing these martial arts. Best all praise to y'all. Like y'all really
Yeah.
working me alive there.
Yeah.
But I like that car sequence so much because you see Rama in the back, and then you see him wake up fighting, and you see him touch the gas pedal to escape from it, and then just go into another car ride thing. And then you see Ika having that motorcycle fight scene that remind me of John Wick, bro. That scene was when he's just shooting the guy in the face and he just gets killed. Like, isn't that not John Wick? Like John Wick Chapter 3, bro?
It's just
Like,
super raw, and it's just I don't know. It's fun, but like you were saying earlier, like it still feels realistic, and it makes you go, "Ooh, oh God!" Like, nah, that's I don't like that. You know?
yeah, I love the sequence how Rama gets into Ika's car, bro.
Yeah, that whole I don't know. I just feel like it keeps finding new ways to show Rama's skills and how intense and willing he is to do what he needs to do.
And then you have this like bond between Ika. I love Ika so much. When he died, I'm like, bro.
I know, but
Why?
they had. I mean, I could see it. You know what I mean?
Because like that's
But
when you get revealed that Ika was an undercover cop, and it's like he wants Rama to get out of the situation. He really wants to get Rama out of the situation, and Rama has to do it alone, man. Like he has no one else.
and that's I think that's the other thing that makes Rama also in the position he is by the end of the movie, because it's like everyone he's trusted or known is either lied to him or died.
Yeah.
And so it's just kind of like, what's the point? Like, like it's just words. It's nothing.
Exactly, and I feel like Ika would have been like the only friend that Rama would have like a good relationship with during these films. Unfortunately, he did get killed. I did love Ika, man. He
Yeah.
was such a golden character.
Let's be in remembrance of Ika today.
Rest in peace, man.
Yeah. That's like what's his name from Young Sheldon, the dad?
We're talking about Ray, man. We get
We can't have any of this. We can't
no,
have any of this.
no. Anyways, let's and that sequence have this epic fight sequence before the kitchen fight scene. Like that fight sequence leading up to the kitchen fight scene was so good, dude. Um, yeah, man. Dakota, want to add two more of the car chase between Rama and Ika?
I'm gonna just let you guys talk about that mostly. Have those thoughts right there because there is one scene in this movie I just want to talk about, and it's not the scene in the kitchen; it's another scene towards the end.
Is it the ending or like?
No,
All
I'm
right,
talking.
okay,
I'm
you
talking
can talk
about
about
Roma.
it.
Yeah, you can talk about it, man.
I really when we go into favorite scenes, I'm gonna just say this is my favorite scene from the movie. It's Roma versus the twins. Because of course it's kind of like a reverse card on him from the first one. He's the
Yeah.
one that's getting 2v1 now, but it's like to the point of when he really gets pissed off and he knows how to control them. It's the point of when he takes the hammer, and it's still like Sammy said. It's the point when he takes the hammer in her neck and just like gently like turns it. And I'm like, oh, and you can just see it pisses the brother off so much. Like he just loses full control. And when he takes it, he hits the bat against his mouth. It's just the thing that they do in this movie because normally the bat just falls out. It stays in his mouth.
Yeah, that was gnarly.
And like you said, the comedy. He hits the ball at Roma and he's like, "Can you get that ball for me?"
As usual. Instead of that was a mistake. Bro, the fact that Yuko kills Russa and then kills Bicho in the end, insane. Insane, bro.
Oh, okay. So when he kills who's the one that kills Andy?
The assassin.
No, who's the one that orders it though?
Bicho.
Yeah, that was Picho.
So when Bijo does that, I'm like, because when Uko kills him at the end, it's the shotgun to the face. I'm like, holy shit! They just showed
Yeah,
that
it's like
whole
it's
thing.
foreshadowing from the beginning. That's what I love about these films, man. But
Because when he kills was it Raza?
yeah, Raza.
It doesn't show anything because you all you see is the blood spatter go on the wine glass and the wine glass break.
But I was gonna say they showed the impact from the shotgun too, which I was shocked to see.
Yeah.
But
So I
it's
feel like
just
a
the
lot of
impact. They didn't
movies.
show the whole face blowing off like they did with the other guy.
I mean, yeah, but I feel like even for like what they showed in the wide, it was still like I was like, damn, they got the right side of his. They showed that. Like
Yeah.
I was expecting them to cut to maybe a close up, maybe like not show it, or maybe like you said, show the aftermath of his like maybe his face. But like it just in the moment, I was like, damn.
Yeah.
And, and the two things I love about that before the scene is when he is in the bathroom and he like
Yeah.
he's washing his hands.
Yeah,
Then
that's what I'm
pulls
talking
out.
about in his face. Yeah, yeah.
Then when he pulls out the go and give the was it the guy in the bathroom? I don't know what their names are. I don't know what their title was.
Yeah, the guy with the napkins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when he gives him his tip and he finds the wire in his wallet.
Yeah, the wire because he thinks Bucho gave him the wire, but it was
Okay, is
Rama.
that
And
what it was? I'm like, okay.
yeah, because remember during the scene with the girls, right? And Yuko had to go talk to someone. Rama went to this wallet and put that wire in there to track him.
And I like that.
Which
And
that
then the
was
other thing,
ballsy.
Yeah, that
and the
was that.
That was ballsy. I thought he was gonna
yeah,
put it in the
so
couch. You know what I'm saying? But he went straight for the wallet. I was like, damn.
Damn.
and another thing is of when Uko sees the tattoo
Yeah, the tattoo. Yeah.
because he's like, oh, because he's always thinking, oh yeah, he tapped my wallet with the wire. Then he's like, oh, he's really fucking dead now that he has this
Yeah.
tattoo because you try to kill me in prison.
Yeah, exactly. And let's go. Okay, since we're cooking up, let's go back to the kitchen fight scene. Yes, fuck, man, that scene was fucking sensational. First of all, I love how they do these fighting poses, and it's a very fast, in your face fight scene. I love the way that Rama was like dodging, like his head movements and everything was so great about a fight scene. And what's the weapon that the assassin uses? Like the
It looks like a little size. All I think is, the little things Moon Knight has. That's all I can think of.
what is that
Yeah.
called?
I don't
Though?
know what those are called. I know what you're talking about. It gave Ninja Turtles.
Okay, anyways, the sequence when Rama like spears him through the window. I keep saying spears a lot this episode, but yeah, spears him through the windows. And then it has that slow mo shot a little bit, and you see that Ramba is jumping to attack, and then he pulls up, that weapon and slices Rama's leg. You, that moment, I was like, "Holy shit, man! Is Rama really going to survive?" Because that moment gives you like a panic attack, and I think that sequence works really well because it's played by Chip RF Raymond. And speaking of, I'm going a little off topic. Chip RF Raymond and Yaya Rupin appeared in John Wick Chapter 3 as the Shinobi Warriors. So I feel like John Wick 3 did put some respect on the martial arts skills from the Raid movies. Anyways, going back to the sequence, um, it just shows like, oh, Rama had the upper hand, but he loses it because of him pulling up that weapon and slicing the leg of Rama. And it's like, oh shit, is this gonna go like the wrong way? Is Rama gonna lose this fight? It just adds that piece of anxiety. But I like the scene when Rama takes the weapon and starts slicing it, and the music just goes full fledged intense, and you see that play out, and Rama kills the assassin, but the way you see Rama's eyes during that sequence, it shows that he's done. He doesn't want to do this no more, and he
But
kind of gives him a hug before killing him, too,
yeah,
right?
it's like it's almost poetic in a sense. Like I feel like he kind of like slowly dances with him a little bit. Not actually, but you know what I'm saying? Like it's like he's hanging on him, he's kind of holding him, but he's not really there. Like
Yeah,
even when he's fighting him, he's not really there. Like it feels like his brain's somewhere else while his skills in another place,
yeah,
which I think is an interesting perspective to take with the action hero because I feel like that isn't very common. I feel like it's like even when they're losing or it's like they're going through something, there's this overconfidence in their fighting, and instead of it over being confident, it's almost like I'm bored. Like like I'm an animal now. I'm bored. This is horrific.
like
Like can this stop?
it's like Rama feels like he's losing his sense of humanity.
1,000%. But it's like he knows his skills and abilities are unhuman. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? That are unethical and are causing him to be a killer.
exactly. Um, I'm gonna go to the ending scene where I think it's the Japanese people. I feel like it's them.
That's what I wanted to talk about.
The Japanese people. I feel like it's them trying to recruit Rama into it, but the movie ends. But Rama's like, "No, I'm done." And I love that sequence because A, it's an open-ended ending. B, I feel like it's a emotional ending because I feel like it represents Rama finally being free of this world and be able to be free with his family. And I feel like Gareth Evans didn't want to make Raid 3 because he felt like that was like a perfect way to end the Raid franchise. That's what he said, but I still want Raid 3.
So,
I still want Raid 3 too.
do you guys think they would make Raid 3? Because there's some
Gareth,
excellent to you.
I feel like Gareth Evans is trying to get Havoc out, and I think he said he doesn't want to do Raid 3 because he feel like Raid 2 was a perfect ending. So I
So,
I think it's a good ending too, but also it's been over 10 years. When it's something like that, like it's not going to be the same, and it's not like you can't pick up at the end of the movie like 10 years later.
no,
You know
so
what I mean? You'd
I
have to
could tell
just
you the whole
continue with
plot.
it.
They have a plot ready.
They said
So,
that, or
yes, I looked it up. So, if they ever did make Raid 3, the plot is set 2 hours prior to the very ending and what the setup was for the whole entire thing and
that'd be
how the after effect of that a little bit.
I see. I just at
Because
that point just do
sometimes I
something
think,
different.
because I think there's a point of, I think they rushed through the ending a little bit.
I don't think they
No,
did. No, it's perfect ending.
no. I'm sorry. I disagree with that.
No, I think it could be longer than like 30 minutes though.
Not
I think it gets it's kind of like a Sopranos moment. Like it just ends and you don't really know, but you know where everyone was at the end. Like you know where everyone's like mental was and like you know where Rama's character ends and where he's at. And the truth is he's probably going to die. And they don't show that. Because what's the point? We already saw it. I mean, he might die, he might not. I mean, like he kind of knows too much. So if he's done, he's not valuable to anyone, and he knows all this information. So I don't. To me, I took the ending as very open ended. Like it's just kind of like I'm done. The statement's as simple as that. Whatever happens to Rama happens to Rama.
for me, him saying no, I'm done. I feel like I'm going with the opposite effect of that. I think is this way of him finding a way to reunite with his family.
I think that too, like realistically, as a character choice, but the reality of his situation is like he's too deep in this shit. He knows he's too deep in this shit. He knows he isn't gonna fix it. And I guess my belief of this also is heavily inspired by the foreshadowing of the other character getting murdered in the same style setup.
Be Andy.
Yes, with the where he's like dies in the snow.
Oh no. Oh, Brockensone. Yeah, the guy who played by Yaya Rubin. Yeah.
Yes, yeah,
Killed by
yeah,
the
Ruben's
assassin.
character.
Yeah.
That scene very much pushes my belief of like where Rama started to see that. He started to see that there was a point where it was kind of too late.
But here's the thing, though.
But you got to be optimistic because I'm with you. Like maybe he
Here's the
lived.
thing, though. This is the Japanese. Like, are they different than Bujo? Like, are they going to assassinate him like the other people? You don't know how different these parties are realistically. So maybe the Japanese are more lighthearted in the scenarios. Like, oh, he did so much. I think he's able to be done and be, you know, to his family, right?
And that's why I like that we can have this. Like they chose that ending, so we can have this conversation, and
Yeah.
it creates discourse, but it also doesn't solidify anything. Because I feel like nothing in the movies are super solidified or
Yeah.
permanent. Like you, even when you think you know what's going on, there's another layer to it that you
Yeah.
haven't seen or they haven't shown you. So I feel like making the ending not permanent makes the ending work better for me.
Me personally, I think this is just a perfect way to end Raid 2 because, like, see, we have this discussion, and I feel like it's an ending that you could, like, bring out different perspectives to the storytelling. And I feel like Raid 2 is a film that you need more attention span to understand the full scope of the story because it's a more layered story with more twists and turns than the first Raid movie. The first Raid movie you could just turn on and have fun with it during the whole sequence of the hour and 4 minutes. But this movie, you have to really understand the foreshadowing. You need to understand the symbolisms of this film a lot more, which is something I really love about this film so much.
No, and it's just I don't know. I like movies that show that they have depth even when they aren't don't have a lot of depth like the first movie. Like there is like it doesn't seem like on the surface there's that much to it, but there is a lot more to it. And then Raid 2 takes time to show us that versus kind of skim that and keep going. Because I feel like a lot of movies would have took the approach of the first movie and doubled down on it, and this
Yeah.
movie does the opposite of that. And I think it benefits from that, and it also just shows how Gareth has such versatility and how he wants to
Yeah.
tell a story and express a universe between
And
two different films.
And that's exactly why I'm always so pissed at Netflix because I really want Gareth Evans Havoc to be out. Like Tom Hardy can be an action director. It's a crime film. Like it's gonna be a fantastic movie regardless. I don't know why it isn't out yet. I feel like it was like announced in 2021 and by Netflix. So I don't know what's happening, especially with Netflix bringing out so much like bad movies out there. Except for Hitman, that's the only great one that abroad this year. But like I don't know what they're trying to do with it. Like you have a big name of Tom Hardy in an action movie, bring it out. Like throw it out.
It might just be stuck in development hell too.
No, they filmed it already.
Oh, they did film it? Okay, I misunderstood. My bad.
It's already filmed. I don't know why they haven't released it.
I mean, like I said, maybe something with post.
You know
what I
why?
mean? Like,
You know why? I'm gonna go right now because Netflix is caring more about fucking Zack Snyder than they are other movies.
Yeah, it's just so stupid. Like, I feel like us TikTokers should pressure Netflix into bringing out this movie.
Because it took them forever to bring out Hitman also, and you see how good that movie was.
I
Okay,
just feel like Netflix has always had a strange release schedule. It's never consistent and it's varied.
so I'm looking at the plot. It's about after a drug deal gone wrong, a Bruce detective must fight his way through the criminal underworld to rescue a politician entangled. How do you say that? ESTRNGED.
ESTR. Wait, say it again. Sorry.
ESTRARNGED.
Arranged.
Arranged son,
Estranged.
yeah,
Oh.
unraveling a deep web of corporation and conspiracy. Bro, this movie sounds like a banger, bro.
Yeah, it
That's
Well,
does.
it sounds like the Raid 2.
it still sounds like the Raid 2. It's 2 hours and 30 minutes, bro.
Okay, yeah. So it's
Same
going
right time as the Raid 2. They're just doing the American version of the Raid 2. That's all they're doing.
They're just making American version of the Raid 2.
that would make sense too.
With Tom Hardy.
Yeah. Anyways, Dakota, you have any questions for us, man?
Oh, here we go. What's your favorite scene in this movie?
Sammy, you go first.
Like I said, the mud scene. I think the mud prison scene is so good. What?
Did you see the part where the dude's ripping the guy's jaw?
Oh,
Turns
yeah.
out-
That's what I.
I'm like,
That's
what
what.
the
Yeah. It's just.
fuck?
It's a very flawless scene. It took a long time. I can't imagine what they had to do it, and it was incredible.
Sammy, we were talking about this, a scene where like the lock was slowly breaking.
Yeah, that was a cool scene. And just like how specific the camera shots were to like capture it, and how many times they probably had to like go back and either not break it to a certain degree or reestablish it on there, but like half broken. And I don't know what. I don't know. It was just impressive to just see even the smaller details of the movie like pop out and stand out as big moments.
Yeah, I think that sequence is like I don't know how they did that. That's a hard sequence to bring out to film. Yeah, Dakota, what's your favorite scene? Man? You know, like quiet
Of
as
course,
shit.
I kind of mentioned it, but of course, it's the Rama versus the twins.
Oh yeah.
Brutal, high tense. I kind of like I said, I wish we got more because they only get 2 action scenes in this. Him, and then it was this scene against who? Oh, it's the scene when they're taking out all the people. The train scene, then the baseball scene in the warehouse.
Yeah. Those are great scenes. For me, it's like the three perspective scene between the assassin and the hammer girl and baseball Batman. I'm gonna keep calling the baseball Batman
Because they didn't really give him a name, so it's
No.
This is, anyways,
I when her glasses fell off,
yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck, bro? I'm like, how did you lose your eye?
I have no idea. Anyways, I like that sequence between those three characters. So it shows like these characters' different perspectives and how different their fighting style is and how strong they are as characters. And then obviously the kitchen fight scene is my favorite action scene of all time. Beautiful scene.
So, I love how Rama to train in prison, he
Yeah.
just literally draws a guy on the wall,
Yeah.
and that's the funniest shit I've ever seen.
yeah, that was cool. I liked. I don't know. It was just simple, but it was also it kind of echoed Old Boy too, in like the first few scenes of that. So
I kind of need to watch Old Boy now after watching these.
I feel like this movie echoes a lot of Old Boy in a sense, or at least like that same energy, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Do you guys got anything else about the Raid 2?
Not right now. I'm
Great.
tired, man.
Yeah, I'm
Me too.
exhausted, dude.
But so I'm guessing that's it for the Raid 2 part. So
Yeah.
Bilal, to your stuff. So Sammy, you know how I normally give you guys, let you guys predict.
Yeah.
So last week I predicted. So Bilal, we're doing that again. Me and Sammy are predicting.
All right.
So let's do the first everything for the first raid first, then we can do Raid 2 after that.
What we started with?
Rotten Tomatoes.
All right, Sammy, my boy. What do you think about the Rotten Tomatoes score for audience and critics?
For the raid, I think it's gonna be like a 98 for like critic, for people 100. I think it's a perfect movie. I don't see how people I think it'll be very well received tomato score wise. For the raid 2, I'm gonna say it's a little
wait.
Oh, we're doing one at a time. Okay.
Okay, so for the raid, I'm thinking 85 critic, 89 audience.
Yeah, both were wrong. It was 87 and 87.
Damn.
The
That's
first
still
time
pretty good. That's still pretty good.
it's the first time I ever seen the critics and audience at the exact same score. Like that's wild. Bro.
So let's do box office next, Bilal.
Oh, box office, gotcha.
I'm gonna say it's low. Like I'm gonna say
Do worldwide.
like 230 million, not even. Like I'm not even gonna say that. I'm gonna say like 160, 170 million.
Oh, that's the great bro. Give me a second. Why is it only giving US, bro? What the hell?
Okay, let's just do the US. Just think of the US. So Sammy gets the US one.
Like 50 million, 55 million. Like I feel like this movie wasn't advertised that well. And it's a foreign film that came out in like 2011. Like nobody in the
So
the
I'm
States
gonna
were not
go.
on movies like that.
I'm gonna go 3 million.
And yeah, we're both wrong. Was 9.3 million. Which is actually pretty good.
I was close. I was close.
What
But
was the raid budget though? Like, I'm pretty
probably
sure.
like low. I don't see it being high.
Because I'm still thinking it was bought from Sony Classic Pictures at the time.
Oh,
It was.
the budget was only 1 million, bro.
Yeah, it was. It looked low budget. Like it looked like the cinematography wasn't, but everything else was.
But of course, I think there's no Oscars for this because of course this is the foreign film. The only one it might get is Best Picture. But I think it would not get one from this.
Not in 2011.
And plus, I think Academy don't like to give the Best Picture for international film to action movies. They're really big stickler on that too.
Yeah, true. They are more attached to dramas.
So,
what's our rating for this?
5.
I say 5, at least for the first one. Yeah, 5 out of 5.
Yes, we actually all agree on something though.
Well, Dakota, I've been telling you to watch these movies for like a month. Not for a month, like for months. You know, like it's been like a while, bro.
But Bilal, do you have anything else with the raid yet? Or is that mostly it?
Yeah,
no. Okay, let's go right into raid 2. Sam, you go first with the prediction for the Rotten Tomatoes.
I think it's gonna be like an 85, and then people, it's gonna be like a 90.
All right, and Dakota.
87 for the critic, 89 for the audience.
And yeah, we're both wrong. It was 82 critically, which is super low, by the way. What the fuck? Anyways, audience was 87 again. What's up?
You know what I think? I think it is the factor in that.
What?
The runtime. Because you gotta think of now. Runtime for movies now, it's a norm to get a 2 hour 30-minute to a 3 hour long movie. Back in 2014, the only 2 movies that could have been that long was this, and then Transformers: Age of Extinction was 2 hours and 40.
Yeah, especially in 2014, nobody was watching long movies that often too, so that was another factor. So what do you think about the box office? You know,
I think this one did better. I'm gonna say overall it did. What was the last one again? If you remember, do you remember? Or no,
it was 9.5.
I'm gonna say at least like 25, 30 million.
Oof.
I'm going with 4.5.
It was 6.5 million. It still made its money back, but the budget was 4 million for the second one.
That's cool.
But it didn't make a profit though. It just got its production budget back.
No, I made a profit.
No, you guys think of marketing and stuff.
But they didn't really market it.
Yeah, it's nobody. I mean, it obviously didn't make that much money.
I kind of wish we could get
international team.
I kind of wish we got the international numbers because I bet you this made some money overseas.
Oh, 1,000%. But even then, it's like I don't know. Internet. I feel like now, for the first time in a long time, international films have a bigger chance of getting more global
Wait, what?
like recognition and like box office receipts than ever before.
What do you want to say, Bilal?
I don't know, man.
But Bilal, what's next for us?
What
So
is
we
next for us? But
so we done Rotten Tomatoes
Yeah, is
box
there
office
anything else or
rating.
yeah?
oh, rating
rating.
for Raid 2. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So what's your rating, Sammy?
4.5. I think it's not as good as the first, but it's very close. So I say 4.5. I like it.
4.5. That's valid.
Yeah, yeah. What about you,
Um,
Dakota?
5 stars.
I'm I'm giving it 5 stars because I love this. Obviously, I love the first one a lot more than this one, but I still think this was an excellent story of showcasing corruption in Indonesia and seeing the crimes in this film and showcasing how much Rama has grown as a character and seeing him still be this like really amazing person as a whole that cares about his family no matter what situation he is in. And yeah, man, I think both movies are different, but they're perfect in their own ways.
So at first this was going to be a 4.5 for me because the first half kind of, or not first half, a little bit in the first couple, probably right up to the 26-minute mark. It seemed a little bit slow, but once we got to the action and the story started to click and run through everything, I'm like, okay, this is a lot better for me, and it kind of like took it up back to a 5. But that's
Yeah.
just it for me.
So Dakota, did you like Raid 1 or 2 better? Which one did you like better?
Right now it's 1, but
One.
it could flip flop any day for me.
Yeah. How
Yeah,
about you, Sammy?
I'd say 1 for now. Easy.
For me, it's Nerd One, and I watched Nerd One like 7 times, so maybe that's a nerd
Yeah,
factor.
I've kept track of your letterbox. I'm like, this dude has I see his activity. You watch it like 5 or 7 times. I'm like, heck, you watched the second one like 5 times also. I'm like, good grief, how many times he's watched these movies?
It's good. It's good.
uh, I gotta rewatch it again. Let me
But
be. Wait, I
the,
did I really watch the second one like 3 times or like
you
five
watched it
times?
4 or 5 times already.
No way. There's no
Yeah,
way I did.
yeah, I can pull up for you right now.
No,
I
I
can
watched it 3 times, dog. Let's go
wait. Let
say.
me see. Wait, hold up.
I logged the raid 5 times, and then the raid 2 3 times. So yeah.
Good grief, Bilal.
Wait, the great movies, man. Let me.
They're good movies.
You know what, Sammy? You gotta think of this, and who's ever listened to this podcast. Bilal first watched the Raid 1 back in September 15th of last year. It's been 5 times. Dude, you're pulling a George right now.
George for what, bro?
Of these movies, you can pull a Batman. He has watched Batman like 13 times since
How do you
it was
watch Batman 13 times? I love that film,
the
but I can't.
the Batman deserves a rewatch for me.
But I don't know how you can watch that 13 times.
Yeah, me neither.
It's
That's
like
yeah,
a
yeah.
3 hour movie.
It's
Like
George,
Mad Max
bro.
Fury Road, I understand. That's only 2 hours long. The Raid, I understand. That's like hour 40 minutes long. It's like not much of a commitment.
But just a little side note, I feel like I'm just gonna say this. Mad Max is 2 hours, but it feels like it's a little bit longer when you're watching it, but it's a good movie. The Batman flies by in the 3 hours.
Yeah, it's pacing is
But
good.
no. I normally have to go during long movies, go to the restroom, right? I watched the Batman twice in theaters. Never had the urge to or went to the bathroom during that movie.
No,
I
yeah.
think
Some
it's the
movies just
thing of like it's flying by. But is that it for us for the raid 1 and 2?
Bro, we talked for it for like 2
Yeah,
hours.
I think we hit our
Bro,
So let's get into our
this
future episodes right now.
Dakota, is this our longest episode?
easy.
No, it's not. No,
There's
it's not.
no.
Our Furiosa episode is the longest episode.
How long is the
Yeah,
Furiosa episode?
that was long as hell. That was a
We get-
long episode.
That's 2 hours and 27 minutes. That episode is.
You know what? You know what? Let's just stretch this one out for like 10 more minutes.
No. So let's
I'm
go
going
into
to
our
bed.
future-
Hell no. We're
Let's
done.
go into our.
I'm
Okay.
tired.
So let's talk about our future episodes. So
But-
of course, for
We
the
talked about
upcoming-
Mad Max Fury Road and Furiosa in that episode,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Okay,
it
it's
was a
2
double.
pieces. Okay, that makes sense then.
So for our upcoming Cinematic Boys podcast episode, which will be episode 21, we will be talking about the bike riders. Which there's some Sammy's still got to see the bike riders, but me and Bilal already saw it. I love the bike riders, by the way. Just a little spoiler alert for you guys right now. That's gonna be releasing. It should. I don't know if it's gonna be Monday, because we gotta wait for Sammy to watch it, and because we normally record these podcasts on Saturdays, and we're recording our raid episode today on Saturday. But next week for the Cinematic Boys reviews episode, we're starting the first movie in the Ty West X trilogy with X. So me, Sammy, and Bilal will be on here.
So are we going to do the Quiet Place 1 or 2?
No, we're not going to do those.
Oh.
Because I can give you guys a perfect example. Me and Sammy have talked about this. What's the point of reviewing those movies? Those movies are literally just them just in the quiet, trying to run from monsters.
What? No, I never said that. I don't.
No, then it was you, Bilal. You're the one who said, then why?
Oh, right. Yeah.
But
I will be talking about Quiet Place Day 1 though, for sure. Though,
yeah,
right?
of course we're gonna be talking about Quiet Place Day 1. I'm
Yeah,
excited for that one.
Lapia Nyong'o is gonna kill it.
And Joseph,
Joseph Quinn.
yeah, I was about to say Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Actually, I love Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Where is he in movies? I need him in my life.
But of course, next week's episode, Cinematic Boys review episode will be episode 23, Michael Jordan's number. We're gonna be doing X.
LeBron James.
Do not mention LeBron James. But okay. It'll be me, Sammy, and Bilal. I'm gonna try to get a special guest on here with us also. I think you guys will like him, especially with his horror movies. But hopefully he will be on here. So the episode will be available it'll be this Friday, because I'm releasing this episode probably on Sunday when you guys will be listening to it. So be looking for that episode. But if you guys are new here and listen to us or watching our video right now, so if you guys are watching the video, hit the like button. Bilal's trying to do this. Bilal has not been able to do this for 2 or 3 episodes now. Hit that like button. If you are new here, subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. You will see highlights, see our faces every week, hear our movie takes. You guys would love my movie take
for some cool clips.
I got some abysmal movie takes. You guys will love them. So hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notification, because it will tell you guys when we post episodes and review episodes. But if you guys are listening onto Spotify, I will put the thoughts, a question of like what your thoughts of the radar and Raid 2. So just leave them down below. If you guys are new there, leave us a rating, follow us on there, and the same thing on Apple Podcasts. And follow our social medias down below. I kind of skipped today's video because I was busy with this. But I've been posting more on TikTok every day. We are 4 followers away right now from 400. And I've been posting on Instagram some. I posted Sammy's Inside Out thoughts on Instagram. So go check that out if you guys haven't yet. But also follow us on Twitter. I'm going to try to still post some stuff on there, because it's been a long time since I posted on there. But guys, with that being said, when you guys hear us next time, it will be for episode for episode 21 of the Cinematic Boys podcast for the Bike Riders. So, guys, with that being said, I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys next time.
So we're gonna be right into episode 21 for the bike riders and our motorcycles. Wait, I don't have a license for that. Never mind. Anyways, MBK out, y'all. Peace. Room. Yeah, room.